Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleHorror. Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meat Hook Jim here. Another episode of the WrestleHorror podcast. With me, as always, my co-host, Donnie Hoover. Donnie, what is going on, man?
Oh, man, what's happening? It has been a crazy week.
It has. A lot's been going on, and we'll get into that. Let's talk about 4th of July.
Yeah, last Saturday. It was definitely a good time. Good time.
It was. We journeyed out of the Meat Hook Gym studios up to the Donnie Hoover studios.
Yeah.
And we had a good time at the 4th of July. We did some swimming, ate some pizza, ate some hot dogs, watched the fireworks. It was a good time.
Through the trees in 3D.
Yeah, it did kind of look like 3D.
Yeah, that is big, gigantic tree just right in front of us, blocking our view, but you could still see everything.
But, it was funny because that one guy that was like over to the right was like competing with the city. And, we could see his.
Yeah, he was hanging in there pretty good for just doing them out of his backyard.
Yeah, all around the neighborhood, all kinds of fireworks. They spent all the money. We didn't spend a dime, and we still enjoyed it.
Yeah, we touched into the moonshine a little bit, and the kids had s'mores, and everybody had a good time. It was fun all around.
It was, and I know I know Haley really wore out Shelby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she does that to us every day. So that's why Shelby was like, I'll take her. I'm like, thank God, go ahead.
Yeah. On the way home, Shelby was regretting that. She's like, man, she wore me out.
Oh, yeah, that's why we call her the Hurricane.
Exactly. It was a good time with good friends. We still had to social distance a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you always got to do that.
But speaking of social distancing, part of the reason we had to do that is because Terry had surgery coming up on this past Monday. Yeah,
that was the only downside to last Saturday. She couldn't really participate and hang out with us all that much, and she had to keep a face mask on, and she had to stay away from all of us, and and stuff like that because she had her spinal surgery on Monday. That coming up that Monday. So so other than that, she talked to us from a distance, but she couldn't get out there and get in the pool with us, and she didn't get to sit around the fire with us and all that kind of stuff. She kind of just sat away and faced the fireworks. She's basically sitting in the middle of the yard by herself.
Well, she's a trooper, and I know the surgery went well from what you told me.
It went a lot longer than we were expecting. They kind of gave us the gimmick on that, and so they told us to be there at 9:45 a.m. and her surgery was scheduled for 11:45 a.m. and it was spinal surgery. They had to put the screws in and fuse the L4, L5, and get all that cleaned up in there and get everything set in place. And apparently, the surgery before her ran long. So we didn't even really they didn't even send her back until 1:30. So it was already a 2-hour delay. So then I go to the waiting room, and I was getting text notifications. They were keeping me updated via text and stuff. And then around 3:00, I get another text, and it says the surgery procedure is beginning. And I was like, what? I was like, she's already been back here an hour and a half. What the hell, So it was supposed to be scheduled for a 4 to 5 hour surgery. So then it was 3:00. So finally, closer to 8:00, 7:30, 8:00, I finally get the doctor came out around 7. It was almost 4 hours to the T. And the surgery went well. They got everything, fused back together. There was nothing permanent damage. They didn't nip the spinal cord or anything like that. So no fluid leakage. And so then she was in recovery, and they said that would be about an hour. So it was 8:30. I finally got the text, that that I could go up to her room. So, yeah, long story short, a 4 to 5 hour process ended up, I was basically there like 13 and a half hours.
Oh,
So, yeah, and by myself because, with all the restrictions for COVID,
right.
you're only allowed one person. And I was, since I'm her husband, I was the only one that was allowed to be at the hospital with her. So I basically just, sat around by myself for 13 hours, which was, it was kind of boring, but I mean, it was all good. I had stuff to keep me company, videos and all that whatnot.
But yeah, I'm glad to hear everything went well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, stepping back into the 4th of July, the hurricane with all of her presents see, that's the other thing about the 4th of July. I'm not sure we did mention it on the last show. Yeah, 3 birthday parties going on too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was Hurricanes was July 8th, mine was July 10th, and my mother-in-law's was July 14th, but being the surgery was July 6th, we just did everybody's that Saturday together. And of course, as expected, the hurricane was the center of attention, and she got all the gifts, and we got pizza. That was basically what we got.
And moonshine.
And moonshine, yeah, a little hit of moonshine here and there.
But I saw that haul she got for her birthday. It's like, wow, this is like Christmas for me when I was a kid.
Right, yeah. Well, she got more after that. We had on the day of Terry's surgery, we had like 3 or 4 more gifts come in from Amazon that was running late. And then yesterday she got another one, and then her granddad's gift came in. He's from Oklahoma, and that came in UPS, and it was like $100 worth of like these LOL dolls, little glitter plastic animals or whatever. It was like a whole big line, looked like a big guitar case just full of little animals, and I was like, good Lord, man. Like if this kid ain't spoiled, I don't know what is,
What tickled me is when the one she gave to what was his name? It was the butt face.
Oh yeah, Jay, my grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah, butthead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her joke gift. She took it back though. She still has it. The next day, that next day, Sunday, she walked around all day like pulling the finger down and listening to it fart, and she kept putting it in people's faces and being annoying as a 7-year-old kid is. So, but it was funny though. We just laugh about it and stuff.
But being that this is WrestleHorror,
mm-hmm.
Can't forget to mention the last of the big gifts while we were there.
Yeah, that's a good one. The main event.
Yeah. She tickled me because she looked at it, she goes, and she had this look on her face like, I know what this is. And I'm afraid to open it, but eventually, and for those of you that Donnie told me this story, Donnie, I want you to tell this story because this is just funny.
Okay, yeah. We have a Chucky doll, a life-size Child's Play doll, and the reason we have it is because my mother, when she was alive, that was her favorite. She was like a sci-fi channel, like all the cheesy, like paranormal or like piranha movie, shark movie, snake movie, like all that cheesy sci-fi stuff was her thing. And she also loved Child's Play. Chucky was like her favorite thing ever. So we went out for Christmas a couple years ago and bought her a life-size Chucky doll. Well, she recently passed, a year ago or so. And that was one of the things I brought back home was, because my sister didn't want it. She didn't like Chucky. So she's like, here, that's your doll. You bought it. You take him home. So we have a life-size Chucky doll in our closet in our bedroom because Terry doesn't like him either. So I ain't allowed to. I have to keep him in the closet. So a couple Christmases ago, as joke gift. Well, actually, last Christmas before, after my mom passed, we took Chucky and put him in a box, wrapped him up in Christmas paper, and gave it to Haley because Haley watches Chucky, but she's afraid she can watch it on TV and she'll get a little bit scared, but she doesn't like the doll. If he's in the closet up on the shelf, she's fine. But once I bring him down, she freaks out. So we had it wrapped up in a box as a joke gift, and she tore that box open and pulled the lids open, and the feet come flopping out at her. And then she saw it was Chucky, and she had a meltdown. And it was funny, but on the back of my mind, I was like, "Dag, I didn't mean to scare her that bad." I mean, she was bawling and crying, so I kind of felt bad. But a year or two later, of course, we come up with the brainstorm idea of doing it again for her birthday. So we just bought like a little gift bag and wrapped him up in it. And we kind of made it like it was obvious because we had the neck. We had like tape around the neck to where you could see it was like a head. So that we gave it to her again as a joke gift, and that was her last gift of the day, Saturday, for her birthday presents. And yeah, like you said, she got the top open a little bit where she saw the hair, and that was all she needed to see. And she freaked out again, and then she told my grandson to open it up. So he went and he was like, "I'll do it," and he tore it open, and he realized it was Chucky, and he freaked out. So neither one, he never did get fully unwrapped by either one of them. They both took off.
And you're traumatizing her, and she's what, 7 now?
7, yeah. Yeah, but she's fine with it now. She's like, if she sees it now, he's back up in the closet in a spot, and she's seen him up there a couple times, and it don't even phase her. She's just like, "Is he still up there on the shelf?" I'm like, "Yep, he's still up there." And she's like, "Okay," and like no big deal.
Well, that's because it's up on the shelf and not where he can get her.
Right. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, she's like I said, she's into that kind of stuff, but she still gets scared by it. So she's going to be a great. She's either going to be a great haunt actor or she's going to be a great customer. One of the two. We're raising her right.
Well, speaking of haunt actors and such, that's a good segue into our next topic, the status of haunting.
Yeah, like I said, you know more about that stuff than I do. I seen something about Big Scary Show just posted something about they just had their episode about it, and I don't remember the haunt again. I got to start writing these down when I see them. But there was another one just the day before yesterday I saw that announced that they closed down, and I thought it was on is like Fear Factor Facebook page or one of the Facebook pages like that, like that record and keep track of the haunts that are open and closed, and it was on there. And yeah, man, it just like we talked about before, it just seems like week after week, one by one, they keep falling and shutting down, and it's just getting crazy.
Well, it's unfortunate. I mean, everybody wants to get out there and scare people, but the global situation isn't conducive, especially with this second wave that has hit, and all these new cases. Florida set a record, 15,000 new cases in a day.
All right.
I mean, and Florida, Texas, California is flaring up again. There's parts of Ohio that are under mandatory masks if you go to a public place.
Yeah, we are here in Franklin County, in Columbus, Ohio. We have to wear a mask wherever we go now.
We down in Cincinnati, Hamilton, and Butler County, we have to do it too. People are fighting, and I don't want to get into a debate about whether or not masks should or shouldn't be worn.
Right, whether they help or not.
Right, but it can't hurt to wear a mask.
Yeah, just better safe than sorry, I guess.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not a big fan of them, and I have I have my thoughts about it too, on whether how effective they are or not. But I still wear one, but I don't get mad. Like if I see somebody going in a store not wearing one, I don't, go, "Hey, you asshole, put your mask on." I just figured that, live your life, I'll live my life. As long as I got mine on, I'm doing my part, and because not only will it protect me from spraying, germs on people, it'll also protect me from other people spraying germs on me, the way I look at it. So
absolutely. I mean, I went into a convenience store today when I filled up my car, and I heard some guy sitting in his car yelling at me because I was wearing a mask. That's my choice. I don't want to catch this crap.
Right, yeah.
And if I want to cover my face, it's for my protection, my family's protection, and ultimately for other people's protection.
Yeah. And we still do it for Terry's purpose, because that was one of the things when we were getting checked out and they were releasing her from the hospital. They were saying that you still need to protect yourself from COVID and stuff for a while, because if you catch it, your body's not going to heal from the spinal surgery as fast, because it's going to be busy fighting the respiratory infection. And so, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, we still, like, every time we go out, whether we have to or not, we'll still put a mask on, just to try to protect her until she gets healed up,
Right. If you're listening, you're watching, you choose to not wear a mask, that's your choice. I'm not going to condemn you for it. It's not my choice.
Right. Yep.
But
great thing about being an American, you can
exactly.
make a choice.
Exactly. I would like to see this stuff go away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, if we all work together, we can get it to go away instead of fighting and politicizing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's affecting a lot of haunted houses across the country. I mean, I know my memory fails me right now, but I know several that really that they're bigger haunts that have chosen not to open this year because of this, and it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
The more that people understand this pandemic and adhere to the rules, the sooner we can get back to the new normal.
Yeah. And in your opinion, say like, stuff keeps going downhill and they cancel, gatherings like that. And so basically haunted houses are shut down this year by law, technically. Do you think there's going to be that rogue haunt here and there that opens up anyway and, like basically runs until they're forced to shut down,
Funny that you should mention that. I actually have a roundtable on my other podcast tomorrow covering just that subject.
On the Big Scary Show?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody, if you're interested in that, tune into that one and see what they got to say about it. I know there's a lot of talented guys on that podcast.
And we're going to be talking to several haunt owners that plan on opening during the pandemic, and we're going to get their take on it, what they're going to do to keep people safe, keep their actors safe, keep their patrons safe.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely be listening to that one myself because I'm interested myself. Yeah.
Well, I try to keep my finger on the pulse of the haunt community. I may not be as active as I used to be, but I still like to know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Because when I get rid of this weight, I might just go back and do some more scaring,
There you go. Can't keep me hooked down.
This is true. Get down to my target weight, and I'll be running around scaring the crap out of everybody, even at the age of 55.
There you go. We already got one night booked with us at Carnage. You already said. So
yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Oh, trust me. Chris was not happy about that.
Yeah. She was happy about that video, though, that you showed her.
Oh, yeah. That part she was happy about. But,
that comes with it. The haunting part comes with it.
She wasn't too thrilled about me saying I was going to act one night. But, that's still a couple months away. So.
Oh, yeah. There's still time.
So, that's what we're looking at haunt-wise this season so far. Everything is so fluid. Things can change from day to day.
Yeah.
And, what is happening today might not happen tomorrow. It's so up in the air that nobody knows what's going on. Some places are still planning to open. Will they open? That remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But the scare factor is the website, and they do have a listing, I believe, of haunts that are open and closed as of current dates. Again, that list is going to change as things progress, especially with these hot spots like Florida and Texas are like the new epicenters where New York City used to be. Why is that? Because everybody that's at New York City went to Florida.
Migrated south.
Yeah. But that's not all. I mean, a lot of these new cases are young people that are tired of being cooped up. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But would you rather be cooped up and alive or partying and possibly dead?
Right.
I mean, it's a no-brainer, but people have to make their own choices. I'm not here to say or dictate what you can or can't do.
Yeah.
Your choice. If you want to risk yourself, do it.
Go for it, yeah.
I choose not to.
Yep. And nothing wrong with that either way.
So that kind of segues into the next topic. And Donnie, you're more on the pulse of this than I am. What's the status of wrestling right now?
Well, for the Ohio region is not very good. I know Indiana and Pennsylvania's opened up a little bit around our area, and but there's a lot of restrictions they're having to abide by. And but for Ohio, we're still shut down, and I don't see us opening up, anytime soon. And if we do, it may not even be till 2021. So yeah, we're kind of like at the on hold and waiting. I know Tuesday the 14th, the Ohio Athletic Commission has their board meeting, so we're all going to be on that phone call and asking questions if we can and trying to figure out what's going on. But now that they have, 6 or 7 counties now that's level 3 where we have to wear a mask and it's not getting any better. Like I said, I don't see any kind of mass gathering stuff being able to happen anytime soon. So I know they have opened up some sporting stuff like non-contact, like baseball and that type of thing. They have opened those up and are starting to do that kind of stuff again. But anything like contact sports, like boxing, wrestling, MMA, that kind of stuff, football, like there's even a chance that, the Big Ten may not be, running this year, which, would be millions and millions and millions of dollars lost, for these colleges. But, yeah, so like sporting and Midwest and Ohio, especially, I can't speak for the other Midwest states, but Ohio especially is not looking good. And, I was thinking maybe we could squeeze in a show and, maybe like November, September, November. But I just, at this point, I'm just thinking ahead to next year's Arnold and hoping that we'll be able to do next year's Arnold is where my mindset is.
Well, fingers crossed for that. Definitely. I mean, it was, the last minute canceling of the Arnold this year really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really hoping that by that time we're over this and we can move forward, because like you said, this year is starting to look really not promising for any of the promotions in Ohio.
Not that I can, from what I'm telling, and like I said, I'm in a group with a bunch of other promotions owners here in Ohio, and and it is like, from what I understand, is like the first time in the history of Ohio wrestling, or in a long time, that a bunch of wrestling promoter owners have gotten together to exchange ideas and to talk civil and try to work together to get this problem solved and get back to action. And like I said, we're at the mercy of the governor and the state and the health department, and so we're but yeah, it's good that we're all together communicating, trying to, we're coming up with ideas on what we could do to help. Like if they do reopen it, guidelines we could put on ourselves to be safe and protect the fans as well as the wrestlers and refs and other workers and all that. So yeah, like I said, it's just Tuesday. I don't have anything positive to that I think is going to come out of Tuesday. I think it's going to be still like, hey, we're going to wait. The governor and the CDC and all that have not released contact sports. Blah blah blah. So I'm not expecting good news, but I'll be on the call nonetheless. And if I get a chance to voice an opinion, I will.
Oh, I know you will. And it's really disheartening for a lot of people. I mean, not just the wrestlers, like you said, but the referees, ring announcers, nudge, nudge,
with brand new red shoes they haven't got to use yet.
Exactly. I want to wear those shoes, damn it.
Yep.
But even my daughter, she's been training, and the only good thing that's coming out about it, there's no contact training going on, a lot of cardio.
Yeah.
And she's still learning, which, on the plus side, by the time things open up again, she should be ready to rock and roll, but I know a lot of wrestlers that she works with, they're frustrated.
Oh yeah.
This is extra income for their families that, has been ripped away. So, how are these people, how are wrestlers, this really applies to wrestlers and haunters.
Yeah.
I mean, how are they going to generate income during the global pandemic? I mean,
yeah, to be honest, that's actually has been on my mind here, the last few weeks. And, I know we mentioned, I remember a month or so ago, we had talked about, wrestlers generating income and trying to survive during the pandemic and ways to do it. But, like I said, here lately, it's really been on my mind. And, about what can they do. They're not getting the paychecks, and for the haunters, the wrestlers, which, and we both know it. We're both in both industries. Indie professional wrestlers and haunt actors. They don't get paid a lot of money per night. It's just enough to cover the gas, maybe pay a bill, whatever they want to use it for. But it's still income,
Right.
And that's one of the things that's been on my mind is what can haunt actors do. Because like I said, I'm the kind of person that I believe find what you love and do that for a living. Do what you love to do, which is what we are working on together, trying to make that happen. And like the haunt actors, what could they do to generate enough income, whether there's a pandemic or not, to feed their families, take care of themselves, and do that full time. And because I bet you ask 95% of haunters, or you ask 100% of haunters if they'd want to do it full time, 95% of them are going to say yeah, So and same with the wrestlers. You go to wrestlers and ask 100% of them, if they want to be a wrestler full time, 95% of them is going to say yes. And with everything being shut down and there's no way of them being able to make income through wrestling matches or being a haunt actor at an open haunted house, how can they make income? How can they take themselves and their characters and their personality and their knowledge of stuff they know and create income from it? And it's something that I've been talking to you briefly on. It's something I've been looking into, and it's even made me change my way of thinking, because during the pandemic I realized that I need to look into other sources of income, because like I said, we had a nice payday coming up this summer with shows lined up, and that went away because the shows were canceled. And so we lost income. So I was learning real estate, and I don't hate real estate. I don't love it. It's not a passion. So I'm still going to dabble in it and learn. But it made me realize just, when this has been on my mind, and I thought about it a lot, those 13 hours I was, sitting there waiting on Terry as well, is that, I need to get back to that, the stuff I love, and learn how to generate income from it, which is haunting. I love haunting.
Yep.
I love wrestling, obviously. I own my own professional wrestling company, so why wouldn't I? And, the podcasting thing, like our WrestleHorror podcast, I'm really enjoying podcasting, and I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I have. We kind of did it just to test it, to see how it would go. And this is actually episode 50. And it's becoming, starting to become passionate about it a little more. I knew we were taking it seriously, but we were kind of treating it like a hobby. But so I'm looking at it, myself as, I don't want to work a job. I don't want to, I don't want to be, go full time into real estate, like I was, learning the business of real estate. I want to still do wrestling and haunting, and and how can I make an income to support that, to where, all I do is wrestling and haunting, and, stuff I enjoy doing. So it's taken an effect on me as well. And it's something I'm going to start working on. And I know I've talked to you about it, and you're going to, start looking into it with me on what could be done for, and even haunt owners and promoters. Like I used to be a pro wrestler, so I know how the paydays are and how hard it is to make money, but I'm a wrestling promoter, and I understand on their side how hard it is to generate income from shows and to be able to pay bills and stuff like that. Same with haunt owners. If the haunt, like I said, a lot of the haunts are shut down this year because they don't got the money to stay open and maintain, with the pandemic. So a lot of if all haunts are shut down, it's going to close a lot of haunt businesses down. And what can they do? Haunt owners do to generate income. It's stuff that I'm starting to think about a lot, and we need to figure out a way, something to help everybody, including ourselves, to where a wrestler can, generate a full-time income, not only counting on how much they get paid by the promoter, and hot dog and handshake and, the $20 here or whatever, and same with the haunters, how can haunt actors, generate income from themselves, for themselves, to where, they don't have to work at jobs they hate. And, because the way I see it, if you're working at a job you hate and you're haunting on the side, you're not going to be able to focus on your haunt skills or your haunt character fully. You're not going to be able to give it that commitment. So there's going to be a lot of wasted energy that you're not going to be able to give that haunt character to make it the best character it could be. Same with the pro wrestler. If you're working 40, 50 hours a week, you're not going to be able to hit the gym, stay in shape. You're not going to be able to run, do some cardio. You're not going to be able to get the time in the ring, because you got to put in those hours at work. You're not going to be able to sit there and think of your character and how to develop it, come up with gimmick ideas and merchandising. I mean, like, all this stuff takes, time and energy that you won't have, if you're working a full-time job too and dealing with those stresses of life. So it's something that needs to be thought about. It has to be a different way of thinking for wrestlers, and other people in the wrestling business, and as well as the haunt industry. Because I know there's more than just haunt actors. There's makeup artists, there's zone captains. There's a lot of different jobs in haunting too that people don't realize there are. And we just gotta. I'm starting. Like I said, it's been burning at me for a while, and I'm starting to think about it more and more. And this focus has come about to where and Terry will get on a soapbox and preach for an hour about how if I see a butterfly, I lose focus, and that's what I do. I want, I got 100 ideas in my mind, and I want to do them all, and I know I can't. So I got to start focusing on certain things, and it's going to become important to me because it's eating at me, so I can tell it's going to become a major factor in what I start doing here. And if anybody has ideas, suggestions, of like income generating ideas for haunters or wrestlers or, promoters or haunt owners, email us at WrestleHorror@gmail.com, or, get on Facebook or Instagram or some one of our social media, put a message, what ideas you're using to generate extra income off of this, since we're dealing with this pandemic and you're not able to work, so I'd be definitely interested in hearing it. But like I said, like you said, that's a big problem, is haunters and wrestlers not being able to generate income. It's it's something that needs to be looked into. And like I said, haunters and wrestlers still have that old school mentality, the old age mentality of, the only way to get paid is by the haunt owner or the booker or the promoter, and that kind of, like, I know in wrestling especially, there's always a little bit of tension sometimes between promoters and wrestlers because of that,
Right.
because of the low pay, the hot dog a handshake, the promoter screwing the wrestlers over, the wrestler screwing the promoters over. And, that's just old school mentality, and that needs to be looked at differently and change, I think, and the way I see it, instead of a wrestler counting on a promoter to pay their expenses, and a promoter counting on a wrestler to, bring in enough people to cover the cost of running the show, they need to, maybe look at themselves and, I need to make my own money. And, but if you're making, a lot of money full time doing wrestling, then who gives a shit if you make $20 for the match? You know what I mean? It's not as big as a deal,
Right.
And a lot of cases you could just tell the promoter, like, I don't even want your money. I just want to because you do whatever, you perform and you film it yourself, or you take pictures of yourself. You use that to turn it around some way to make income. The promoter's giving you the platform for you to generate income, and the wrestler's giving a promoter, an event that they can use to generate income. And like I said, it's the same way you could look at it with haunt acting, and haunt owners. I mean, there's got to be a different way of thinking about things, and it's, like I said, it's been eating at me. So I'm gonna start looking at it, and see what I can come up with to try to help out. And like I said, nobody's getting rich in independent wrestling and haunt actors, haunt houses. Nobody's making, tons of money to where they can do it full time, so, something needs to be done. It's just a matter of what at this point.
There is a very small number of people that do it full time
Mm-hmm.
in both businesses.
Yep.
And, I would love to be able to do it full time. I mean,
Right,
I would love to be able to podcast for you guys full time, and that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleHorror, we've got some plans on the horizon for WrestleHorror. We're not going to go into too much detail yet, but we're still working on it. Donnie and I have been communicating a lot, and we're looking to expand what we're doing for wrestling and the haunt and horror side.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time. It's going to take effort, but eventually it's going to happen. We just got to put our noses to the grindstone and get the ball really rolling in what we're going to do, because here we are. If you think about it, Donnie, we've been doing this almost a year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's kind of hard to believe, actually, that,
Right. Yeah. It went by fast.
I mean, we're at 50 weeks already. I mean,
Mhm.
well, I think we only hiccuped on 1 week, maybe
Yeah.
2.
1 or 2. Yeah. 1 or 2 weeks we missed. So yeah, it's been we're in about the year range.
Yeah. And, it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. I
Right.
mean, because we enjoy what we do, and getting this to you. And one of these days I'm going to get the videos up. I'm just really lazy.
Right. I understand it. Well, I mean, that's the same like with us. Like, like I said, what we're talking about other people's the same thing with us. We got day jobs.
Right.
Both of us work day jobs, so we can't get up in the morning and, focus solely on wrestling and haunting all day long. We got, other crap on our plate. And, that's what we need to look at trying to eliminate. I mean, like even the podcasting, it's like, we get up like, oh darn, all I got to do all day is wrestling and haunting. Hey, I got to go to the haunt and build some sets. Oh shoot, that sucks. I'm never going to say that. Or, oh darn, I got to go do this wrestling show. I'm never going to, that sucks. I'm not going to say that. And same with the podcast. Like, oh crap, I get to sit down and talk about wrestling and haunted houses. How sucky is my life? You know what I mean? You're never going to hear that out of my mouth. So that's what,
Oh,
that's
not
what we're
ever.
trying to strive for. So, but it's important that we do it to where, and like I said, so we're going to be practicing what we preach, the things we come up with and the things we start sharing with people and the ideas we have. We're not only going to be talking the talk, we're going to be walking the walk. We're going to be trying it out for ourselves, and we'll be blunt and honest and wear our hearts on our sleeve. If something works, we're going to say, hey guys, this is what we're doing. It's working for us. And if it fails, like, hey, we tried this and it freaking sucked for us. It didn't work. So, you're on your own if you want to try it or not. We'll be honest about everything we're doing
Right.
and up front. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes on the WrestleHorror. I might even change my set because I notice I don't even have a WrestleHorror or a New Ohio Wrestling logo anywhere, except I got the Arnold one right there. I can't point right. And there's Brutus Buckeye holding our Arnold championship. But so
Yeah,
yeah.
but do you have room?
Oh, in my huge podcast studio.
Yeah, do you have room to put up a logo?
Yeah, that's something we forgot to mention about July 4th. I brought you down to my infamous podcast studio, and you walked through my camo netting curtain, and you're like, I did not expect that to be that small. And I'm like literally in, it's like what, probably 4x8 section.
Yeah, it's like smaller than my bathroom, and I've got a 90-something-year-old house, and my bathroom's about this big.
Yeah.
His studio's smaller than my bathroom.
Yeah, he was like, man, I did not expect it to be this small. I thought it was a lot bigger.
I did. Of course, you can see mine is because it's in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the only safe place for me to do it because if I do it downstairs, I'll have my wife and my daughter, TV, too much noise. And sometimes I put a green screen behind me, but I got lazy today.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
But when I get my new Mac, if the unemployment ever comes through for my wife,
right.
If I get my new Mac, I'll be able to do it without a green screen and all kinds of shit going on behind me.
It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, see, like I said, it's going to be some changes coming. And like I said, we're really sinking in. Like Jim's been doing podcasting for, 8 years now or more?
8 years.
So, yeah, so, I mean, he's definitely got the feel for it. And this is, like I said, this is my first run at it. So, I didn't know if I would 100% like it or not, but I'm finding out that I do. And so we're going to like buckle down and focus more on this and less on other stuff that, I get drifted off on. And my wife always yells at me for her. And she's like, you own a wrestling company, focus on that. Cause I'll come up with these lame brain ideas. And that's her response. You own a wrestling company, focus on that. And then when we owned the trail, you own a trail, it needs built. Go work it, focus on that. Quit worrying about this other crap. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. It's like, but she's 100% right, though.
It's like for a while there, my wife's like, "You're doing another podcast," because I record every other week for a Big Scary Show. We do what's called the Round Table of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
And it's myself and 3 other hosts. We call ourselves the hosts. And we have a topic that we record for our shows, and it's usually on Sundays. This week it's going to be on Monday. But it's like for a while there, she's like, "Are you doing a recording again?" or I'll say, "I'm going to go upstairs. I got to do a recording with Donnie," and she's like,
Well, she's gonna really be mad at us here coming up down the road.
"Well, if we start making money, she'll shut up."
Right? That always quiets them down, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But wow, we've covered a lot of topics on this episode. No guests again, but we're working on that too.
Yeah, well, let's say we'll have some guests on here every now and again, but we'll probably, there's going to be a lot more just you and I think, as well, discussing ideas and stuff that we need to focus on for us to grow, as well as, what we can put out there to help, people in wrestling and the haunting industries grow as well. And so, yeah, but I mean, definitely we're going to have some guests on here, and then we're going to keep it fun. And, we're going to do a little bit of everything, I think. And, it's time to ramp it up and start going to that next level. And like I said, we did a 50 episode test, and I like what we're doing. I like what we're seeing and what I'm seeing. And it's time for us to, to ramp it up here and make some changes. And, so yeah, definitely going to be, coming at you guys, and it's going to be more work for us, but in the long run, it'll pay off.
And it'll get to a point to where, if you love what you do, it's not work.
Right. Yep. That's true. That's what we're going for.
Oh, believe me, I would love to be able not to have to work my day job.
Right.
Especially, why? I've told you stories.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But anyway, that's it for WrestleHorror episode 50.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Again, it's been a year. When Donnie asked me to do this, I wasn't too sure about it myself, but I figured we'd give it a shot. And here we are a year later, and we're going strong, and we're going to keep going stronger. So keep listening, keep watching. If I ever get these videos up, you can watch. I'm going to have to dedicate a day where I just sit down and edit videos so I can get them up.
Yeah, now everybody wants to see how my giant podcast studio.
Well, right. I'm going to have to get these videos edited.
All right.
So I'm actually working on a new intro for the video.
Oh, very cool.
So hopefully I can get that done soon, and I'll start getting these back up. I keep saying that, and I never do it, but I got to force myself to do it. And by gosh, if we're going to move forward, I'm going to make myself do it. So
yep, same here. Time to put the pedal to the metal and get moving on it.
Yep. So thanks for listening, and hopefully thanks for watching soon. I'm Meat Hook Jim, my co-host Donnie Hoover, and I'm pointing at him right. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, see? I didn't do too well, but yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it's doing good here. We are WrestleHorror. Keep listening. We'll catch you on the next show.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets. Facebook.com/WrestleHorror, Instagram @WrestleHorror, Twitter @WrestleHorror, on our YouTube channel, the WrestleHorror channel. Also, you can find us at www.WrestleHorror.com.